Update. Am I the a-hole? Mom called me useless, so I stopped helping. Original post. I 20 female live at home with my single mother and 5 siblings while I finish university. 23 male, 22 male, 17 male, 15 female, and 12 male. Almost every day, I wash the dishes, load and unload the dishwasher, vacuum the common areas, drive my younger siblings to and from school, and cook dinner while also attending university. I get no help from my mom or siblings, nor do I get any appreciation for what I do around the house. Last Wednesday, I came home late, around 9 p.m. from uni, as I was talking to my teacher after the lecture. My class ended at 7:30 p.m. Once I got home, my mom started yelling at me because I wasn't able to cook dinner. There were dirty dishes in the sink, and my oldest brother had to pick up my younger siblings from school. I was upset by this, but then she said, "You're useless. You don't help out at all." And I got pissed. I replied, "Sorry for being useless," and went to my room. The following day, I didn't drop my siblings off at school, which forced my mom to do it. I didn't make dinner either, and I stayed at uni until the library closed at 9 p.m. I continued to do this, and the house is now a mess, and my younger siblings have missed a few days of school. My mom and my other siblings are angry at me. I'm just wondering, am I the a-hole? I feel like I'm not, but hearing it from my siblings and mom every day is getting to me. Edit. I had to leave some stuff out due to character limits. My family is from a foreign background, so my mom's beliefs are very old-fashioned. I live in Australia and in a location close to the city, so houses are quite expensive here. Rent is due fortnightly, so I wouldn't be able to afford moving out. I don't have a job, but due to a small allowance I get from the government for studies, I contribute $150 a week toward household expenses. I didn't include every single chore I do, but laundry is one chore everyone does themselves because they all wash their own clothes. My sister helps the youngest with his. I wipe down counters and clean the kitchen after cooking dinner. I clean the bathroom sporadically. My brothers literally pee on the floor and don't wipe it up. I encourage my younger siblings to clean their room, but ultimately I end up tidying it. My older brothers are both employed but don't help around the house at all. They play video games when they're not working. My mother does not help me with my school fees. I've taken out student loans to pay for it. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Everyone in a household should help out, but not to this extent. You're doing everything, and if your siblings don't get to school when you're not there, that's not your fault. What exactly do your mother and your older brothers contribute? My mother works 9 to 2 and pays the bills. Oldest brother works in the morning and plays video games after he gets home, while second brother sleeps in until 2 p.m., then goes to work and plays video games all night after finishing work. Not the a-hole. Your mother has failed you in every way. How about she actually parents her children? At least 4 of your siblings are also capable of doing household chores, but they prefer to take advantage of you. Don't back down from this. It isn't your responsibility. I myself helped with housework from the age of 6 and ironed from the age of 11 for everyone in the house. My mom fostered and my big brother didn't help and had his friends over all the time. People ate at different times, so I had to clean the kitchen and fill the dishwasher several times a day, clean 2 bathrooms, iron everyone's clothes, clean the foster kids' rooms, hoover 2 living rooms, hallways, and stairs. I could go on. Yet I was the one who was called lazy, not my brother, who did nothing except walk the dog with his friends. When my mom adopted another girl, she started to help me after a year of adjustment. I moved out when I was 18. The thing I'm confused about is why the other girl isn't helping. Obviously, all siblings should help, but if OP's mom is old-fashioned, you'd think she'd make the other girl help with chores. It sounds like she's just picked on OP and made her the housekeeper. She's not allowing her to save money from her university allowance, so she can't move out, in my opinion. My sister is only expected to do her and the youngest's laundry. When I ask her to help out with little things, she'll help, but the majority of the chores are done while they're at school. Why is your mother not upset that your older brothers aren't doing anything around the house, and they are peeing on the floor, and you're expected to clean it up? What kind of sexist crap is this? Whoever makes the mess needs to clean it up. Whoever is home at dinner time can make dinner. Even the 12-year-old can do his own laundry, and if he needs help, why not get a brother to help him learn? Why is it just you and your sister tending to others? This all makes me so mad on your behalf. House chores need to be divided equally among all those who live there, not just done by those with ovaries. I fully agree. I just wish my mother would agree too. She believes women should do all the work and men don't need to do anything. Now for the update 2 years later. Hi again, Reddit. I posted about 2 years ago and wanted to update you all. Thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. The kindness and viewpoints from strangers on the internet helped me more than I ever expected. After I stopped helping out with the house, I reached out to my university student support services for advice. They helped me get a part-time job at the student help desk, which gave me a bit of financial breathing room. Around the same time, I broke up with my boyfriend. Meanwhile, my older brothers, now 25 and 24, continued to do nothing to help. I went back to driving my younger siblings, now 17 female and 14 male, to school, not because I gave in, but because I genuinely care about their futures. The breaking point came when my mom tried to get my aunt, her younger sister, involved by painting me as a disrespectful daughter. I didn't know how my aunt would react since they've always been close, but I ended up telling my aunt the truth. To my surprise, she was horrified. She opened up about how she and my mom were treated pretty much the same way by my grandparents, and how when they moved to Australia together, they talked about not raising their kids that way. My aunt offered to take me and my 2 younger siblings in, as she has no kids. Now I live with my aunt. It's an hour's drive to uni, but the peace is worth it. One of the best things I've done for myself is start therapy. It's expensive, so I can only afford a session once a month, but it's already doing wonders. As for my younger siblings, they're doing better. They keep their rooms tidy, they help with cooking, and they're both incredibly respectful to our aunt. My brother isn't relying on my sister anymore, and my sister is finally starting to stand up for herself. I've been reminding her not to let anyone, especially our mom, push her around the way I was. My siblings moved to a school that's within walking distance, and they haven't missed any days. Recently, my brother, then 17, now 19, reached out to me and apologized for everything. He said he knew it was wrong how I was being treated, but at the time it didn't affect him, so he didn't think about it too much. We had a proper conversation over the phone, and things seemed to be okay between us. He told me he was planning on moving out to live with a friend, since our mother had started lashing out at him and forcing him to do the household chores I used to do. As for me, I graduated uni. My aunt and younger siblings came to my ceremony. I didn't bother messaging my mom to let her know. I've already been accepted into a graduate RN program at the hospital where I did my last placement. I'm super excited to start and finally get my life on track. For once, I feel like my life is actually moving in a direction I chose. Congratulations! You took a bad situation, refused to let it diminish your life and your potential, and now you have a present and future that are worthy of you. You are awesome. Thank you so much for this comment. It really means a lot. I did notice that your brother only apologized after he was treated as you were, despite admitting he knew how bad it was before. A verbal apology is not enough in my opinion. He needs to show you that he's sorry. Do something genuinely nice for you. Teenagers are often mostly worried about themselves. He isn't asking her for money or to move in and have her take care of him. Instead, he let her know he is moving somewhere else and that he was able to understand how she was treated. He could have been further radicalized and believe OP was the one in the wrong for leaving. All the evidence points to him being sincere. I agree with this comment. I don't think he was malicious in any way, but I've noticed that if something doesn't bother him directly, he'll ignore it. He's been in contact with me more recently, and he visits my aunt's place every now and then for dinner. He's become a completely different person since planning to move out with his friend, and he's mentioned that he's planning to go to therapy, which I'm really happy for him. This is wonderful. I'm so glad you spoke to your aunt, and she stepped in to help. Congrats on entering the RN program. I know you've graduated now, but universities where I live, USA, often offer therapy. I was able to do both group and individual therapy at my university. Check with the RN program to see if anything similar is offered. Things may be different on the opposite side of the world, but they may have reduced fees or some other savings program. It doesn't hurt to check. The hospital offers a few free therapy sessions, which I'm going to look into once I start my grad program next month. Thank you so much. Next story. Am I the a-hole for declining guardianship of my sister? I, 27 male, emotionally lost my mom when I was a teenager. When I was 15, my stepfather died after a long illness. Less than a month later, my mom moved on fast. A new relationship, a rushed marriage, and then a baby girl. Everything happened so quickly that I felt completely pushed aside. I stayed quiet, finished school, and the moment I turned 18, I moved out and cut contact entirely. Over the years, some relatives kept trying to push the idea that I should have a relationship with my half-sister. I was always clear that I didn't want that. I didn't hate her. I just didn't want any connection to that part of my life. About 2 years ago, when I was 25, my family decided to get creative. They told my best friend about the situation and convinced her it might be healing for me. She invited me to what I thought was a normal dinner. When I arrived, my half-sister was there. I felt betrayed, and I didn't make a scene. But afterward, I told my friend that putting me in that position wasn't fair to me or the kid. I explained that forcing a relationship wouldn't magically make me want one, and honestly, it wasn't healthy for anyone. That was the last time I allowed anything like that. A couple of months ago, things fell apart on my mom's side. There were some bad addiction issues that finally led to child services getting involved. Her husband ended up going to jail, and my mom lost custody because she wasn't able to provide a stable environment. Their daughter was placed with different relatives temporarily, but no one wanted to take her in long-term. That's when my name came up. I didn't hesitate to say no, repeatedly. I warned my family that if they kept pushing, I'd cut contact completely. Eventually, the girl entered foster care. A caseworker later reached out to ask if I'd reconsider becoming her guardian or even having contact. I declined and asked not to receive updates or have my information shared. My family did not take that well. I got messages calling me heartless, selfish, and cruel. They asked how I could live with myself, whether I felt guilty, and if I worried I was throwing away my sister. I was honest. I don't want one. They even asked if I'd be okay knowing she might be mistreated in foster care. I told them that if they were that concerned, they were free to step up themselves, instead of pressuring me. After that, I blocked everyone. A weird cousin later confronted me in public after following me for a long time one day while I was out with friends. He accused me of being cold and abandoning family. I left early to avoid a scene, and I'm glad I did, because if I had stayed, I would have beaten the crap out of him. Here's the thing, I could have taken her in. I have a stable job, a small but decent place, and a spare room. I could have made it work. I just don't want to. I don't think forcing myself into a role I never wanted would be good for either of us. So, am I the a-hole here? Emotionally lost your mom? What does that mean? I mean, she was physically around, but emotionally she checked out. It felt like whether I existed or not didn't really matter to her anymore. Like this one time when I was in school, they asked me to bring my mom in because I'd been missing a lot of classes. I begged her to come, but she told me she was busy and didn't want to deal with it. Later I found out she was using and didn't want to show up like that. I ended up missing even more school until my aunt stepped in and went with me instead. Stuff like that happened a lot. She was technically my mom, but I was basically on my own. Not the a-hole. Your family can take the child in. I'd ask them how they could live with themselves if they don't, since they're fine pushing the responsibility onto you without taking any themselves. The child should be with someone who wants her, which isn't you. And I would push back on the family about where they were when OP's life fell apart. Yes, he was a bit older than his half-sister is now, but he was still a minor. No one seemed to care about him. Not the a-hole. Raising a child with whom you have emotional misgivings would be a mistake for both of you. And by the way, your friend's actions were cruel to both you and your half-sister when she surprised you with a dinner that included your half-sister. If my friend had done that to me, I'd have turned around and walked out without a word and blocked them. Last story. Am I the a-hole for getting close to my much younger stepmother's dad, even though it makes her uncomfortable? I'm 26 female. My dad remarried last year. His wife, my stepmother, is 25 female. She's technically younger than me, and yes, it's awkward. For background, my dad, 54 male, and my mom divorced years ago. I was already an adult when he met my stepmom, so we've never had a parent and child relationship. We're more like forced acquaintances. Here's the issue. My stepmom's dad, Mark, 52 male, is actually someone I get along with really well ever since our families met. We bonded pretty naturally. Same interests, same sense of humor, similar life experiences. He treats me like an equal adult, not like some weird extension of my dad's new wife. Over the past several months, we've talked a lot at family gatherings, sometimes sat together, and sometimes even chatted outside of events about work, life, and random stuff. Nothing inappropriate, no flirting, no secrets, just conversation and mutual respect. I treat him like how I treat my dad. My stepmom hates it. She started making passive-aggressive comments like, "Why do you always talk to my dad?" Or, "It's kind of weird you're closer to him than to me." Or, "People might get the wrong idea." I tried explaining that I'm not doing anything wrong and that her dad is just easy to talk to. She snapped and said I was crossing boundaries and that it made her uncomfortable because I'm too close in age to her dad's family dynamic. Now she's clearly upset with me. She avoids me, complains to my dad, and has implied I'm doing this to undermine her or make her look bad. My dad thinks I should just distance myself to keep the peace. I feel like I'm being punished for having a normal, respectful connection with another adult. My best friend said that she's just afraid and facing her own ghosts, that I might do what she did to my dad and marry her dad to spite her. She jokingly said that stepmom's dad is hot. She can marry him instead, and we had a good laugh about it. I promise, I'm not into older guys. I'm not trying to replace anyone, start drama, or make her insecure. I just don't see why I have to cut off a healthy relationship because she's uncomfortable with it. Am I the a-hole for not backing off from my stepmother's dad just because she's mad about it? Not the a-hole. She is just immature and is talking out of insecurities. Maybe jealous if she doesn't have a close relationship with her dad. Yeah, that's pretty much how I see it. This seems way more about her insecurity than anything OP has actually done. OP is not trying to compete with her or replace anyone. She just happens to get along with her dad in a normal adult way. Not the a-hole. You are just trying to bond with your step-grandfather Limao. Listen, she's scared you will start dating her dad. You need to talk to your dad so he can talk to his 25-year-old immature wife. Or come at it from another angle. Ask your friend, step-grandpa, to talk to his daughter. Not the a-hole. She's seeing herself in a mirror and how weird it is, and she doesn't like it when the shoe is on the other foot. Talk to whoever you want. She's your dad's issue.